Grace doing a good job here. He's got his hands locked.
An 11-2 major decision for Isaac Roble and the Boilermakers.
What a win for Hayden Filipovic to get the job done. He put Andrews on his back a couple of times.
Grayson Clark scores the final 8 points to take a 9-4 victory.
Beautiful job by Blaze. You saw him kind of drag him back with his head stuck in the middle.
Boilermaker faithful here in Holloway Gym, giving Ben Venadia a round of applause as he picks up his 4th Big Ten dual victory.
And he gets the takedown. Brody Bowman.
Welcome to the 2025-26 start of the Always Aggressive podcast. I'm your host, Tanner Lipsett. With me, as always, head coach Tony Ersland. Coach, it's been a minute. Glad to be back. Gonna have to probably shake a little rust off, but let's see if we can pull this off.
Yeah, good day to do this. So a lot going on between the competing and then signing day and everything. So there's a lot to talk about. So great time to start it up again.
Couldn't agree more. With that, we'll jump right into the first part of this. Started the season 2 weekends ago, out on the left coast. We took the long trip out to, and when I say long trip, I mean long trip.
Yeah, emphasize the long.
Started at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. Spent some great time there on the beach between SLO and Pismo, which was awesome. And finished the trip over at Cal State Bakersfield. But pretty good opening weekend for the guys.
Yeah, I mean, and not just from a results standpoint. I mean, you mentioned we started the trip out at Poly right there in San Luis Obispo. Just good, beautiful scenery, but great to spend time with the guys on the road, right? That's always time well spent. I mean, those are memories that you carry for a long time, right? Long after you're done competing. And so I enjoyed the whole experience. I mean, we got a couple days at the beach, kind of at a resort atmosphere, right? We got lucky with it being off season. We were, kind of in a resort. And so that was just, it was a great couple of days of getting acclimated to California, getting some workouts in before the competition. So I enjoyed it all the way around. Obviously competing, got 2 dual meet wins, which was awesome. But then there's the ups and downs of any competition, right? With Grayson Clark's heartbreak and some things like that. But it was a good trip to start off the year and get the guys going.
Yeah, it was interesting, and you never really think about it until it's actually happening. But we had a few kids on the team that either had never flown that far, had never flown at all, had never seen the ocean. There was a variety of stuff like that. Specifically, Blake Borman's the guy I'm thinking of. Our 5th-year transfer comes in, and he was extremely anxious about the flights. And then I think he was pretty awestruck by the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about making memories too, right? Like, yeah, it was a great experience for him because it was kind of new for him and a guy who didn't like to fly. And here we are on, 4 flights on the trip. So it was a good experience all the way around. I'm glad we did it. I'd have to rethink how we do it again, like the logistics. I will say that because it was long. I mean, you guys, we were out there for a couple days before we even competed, which was nice to get acclimated. But, boy, you're kind of used to that. Hey, you get there, get your weight off, get ready, and go. And it just seemed, like a long time to kind of wait to get to what you came to do with competing. So that's where the trip got long, no doubt. But hey, it was a good experience for the guys, something I'll remember for a long time.
Without diving too deep into the reasoning, obviously, the logistics of the trip were challenging.
Yeah, we thought we were going to have a different situation, perhaps competing on Friday. That didn't work out, so we had an extra day of time at the beach, I guess, in preparation.
And I thought honestly that while Saturday and Sunday the back-to-back duels were not optimal, I thought it was a great opportunity for the guys to show some early resilience and step up to a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it's, if you've ever cut weight, understanding back-to-back days to start off, your season is different, right? Normally you're into the season maybe a month or so. When you get to Cliff Keen or something like that, a 2-day tournament where your weight's a little more under control. And knowing that, I thought our guys did do a good job. Actually performed better on day 2 because maybe their weight was in a better spot, after making weight the day before. So it worked out fine. And again, I'm glad we did the trip. It's just, logistically, some things, that weren't not in our control. That's what we were given, and so that's what we had to do.
Yeah, speaking again of Blake, really nice start to his Boilermaker career out there. 2 solid wins. Specifically, his second win, his win at Cal State Bakersfield, had kind of a few things go his way early in the match, but really dug deep and found a way to come out with the W.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Down a couple takedowns. And then found a way in the third to make his conditioning and his attack rate pay off, right? He really turned up the heat and found his way. And I think it was 3 takedowns in the third to win when it looked like, it wasn't necessarily going to be his day the way the match had gone in the first, 4 minutes or so.
Absolutely. Another guy to bring up, Gavin Brown, another one of our transfers, had a really nice start at 149 for us, specifically his first duel having to go out there against a former teammate. Yeah. Andre Gonzalez and he were both at Ohio State together. Learned they were actually pretty good friends as well. Yep. And so to see Gavin gut that one out was a great start to his career. Right.
Teammates, at different weight classes there at Ohio State, and now they're both at 149. And then it kind of looked that way, right? There was a lot of mutual respect maybe that I'd say, or feeling it out, and then the good wrestling all happened at the very end, right? Somebody had to make a decision to go after the win, and Gavin was able to create a couple situations that were the difference in the match.
So 2-0 dual start out in California. We got back, luckily had the full week because we didn't compete until Sunday at Missouri. But jumped on the bus last weekend, 13 hours round trip down to Como, but another nice showing for the guys.
Yeah, it was 5 in the finals and 2 champs. Solid showing. You always want to do a little bit more, right? The coach and me, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that.
It's been a while, but if you do not, recall, the head coach is never satisfied.
That's
ever.
True. That's true. You're always thinking about the ones that got away. But again, right? To be fair, 5 in the finals with multiple champs in that field is a strong showing. And I think Brody Bowman controlled throughout the day. His matches, was never in any real danger. I'd still like to see him open up a little bit more because he's capable of more. But a sharp showing by him, and then kind of a coming out party a bit for Stony Buell. Win over the number 14, the Swenson kid from South Dakota State. Stoney kind of really announced himself, and it's reflected this week in the national rankings. So nice to see that sacrifice and the discipline that Stoney's had to get down to 157.
For sure.
Right after spending his entire career up at 65, pay off for him. So, yeah, that was great to see, in particular Stoney with the sacrifice and discipline he's had to have.
I bet it'd be even easier for him to make that weight if he would cut all that hair off. I know that flow is beautiful, but
who wants to lose the mullet?
He's carrying an extra pound there for sure.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, I think he'll gladly do it. It's a good look for him, man. It's the Kentucky waterfall.
When did he have? Was it on the way home from California that he had it all picked out?
Yeah, well, he had it picked. Yeah, he had it picked out,
fluffed out,
fluffed, and it was big. It was impressive.
There was a lot going on there.
Yeah, for those of you, see if you can get him to post it on social sometime. It was impressive.
When they say there was a party in the back, it was.
It was a party.
It was a party for sure. Going back to Stoney, I think seeing him open up against, he had 2 ranked wins, beat Jones from Little Rock, formerly of Northern Illinois. Beat Swenson, took the medical forfeit from Hippolito down at Oklahoma, and really found ways to get to his offense. And, it wasn't – he didn't go down there and win 2-1 matches
Yep.
or, one takedown matches. He went out there and actually put up some points against those guys.
Yeah, I think that's the best point. I'm glad you brought that up. He was scoring points. He was aggressive into his offense, and maybe even in a little different ways than he has in the past, right? Again, reflects that hard work. He's working on some different attacks, so he's not predictable. And, again, you could see it, those changes taking place, and the results showed.
For sure. You brought up Brody Bowman already. Nice to see him in the championship. A few young guys did some really great things, highlighted clearly by Isaiah Schaefer at 133 pounds.
Yeah, right. First collegiate match, he has a ranked opponent in the Missouri. The kid, I think he was maybe number 25.
That sounds right.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and just came out and took charge right away. It'd been easy for a young guy to kind of feel it out again and see how the match may go, but he didn't. He came out, he got to his offense, got a takedown, put himself on top, and rode tough, right? And then he established what the match was going to be. And honestly, the Missouri athlete was never in it after that. I think it was 12-3 decision. And I think that was because Isaiah came out, and took charge right away in that match.
I mean, all the years of doing this, and you watch these guys, and like you said, a lot of these freshmen, they come out and they're tight. They don't exactly know what to expect. They don't know where it's going to go. The funny thing, Isaiah had no idea who the kid was, which is
right.
awesome, which is exactly what you want, right?
Everybody should spend their entire career that way. It doesn't matter who it is, and I'm not sure who he is or what he's done. Let's just wrestle.
Let's just wrestle.
Yep.
So, no, watching him go out there and not look like a freshman was incredibly cool.
Yeah.
Went on to beat two more, really good kids to reach the finals, and
Yep.
where he fell a little bit, lost in overtime in the finals, just a little bit short.
Yeah, just a little bit too. He was in on the winning takedown late in the third and just couldn't get the finish he needed. So again, not from lack of effort or composure or mentality, right? I was impressed with how he competed, and he just needs to kind of keep going with that consistency wise.
Yeah. Other guys, like you said, 5 guys in the finals. Cole Salome was a great performance by him.
Yeah, big day.
Went out, beat a ranked opponent from South Dakota State in the was that in the quarters or the semis?
That was in the quarters.
That was in the quarters.
You're right. Yep.
Alec Martin from South Dakota State, and then just comes up just short against a very tough Josh Edmond in the finals. 2-1. Got hit for stalling twice in the third period. I know Coach Vega, for one, was not happy with how that went down. But really nice day for Cole.
Yeah, I know. Speaking on Coach Vega, I was not in the corner for that match. We had 20.
Neither was I, but I heard it from across the.
We had 19 athletes going that day, so all of us were busy, and so I was not in the corner for that, but I certainly heard about it. And there's a discrepancy on that stalling call, so I know Vega felt like that was kind of not the correct call, and it sounds like Cole had wrestled him dead even. By all accounts, right? I mean, if the stall calls the difference, and that's pretty debatable or very much in the gray, then I feel like Cole the entire day wrestled hard, wrestled to his positions, and again gave himself opportunities, which is all you can ask for. You want the opportunity so you can make the most of it.
We were definitely on our toes all day. Missouri had 3 mats running in the gym, and there was probably 3 or 4 times when we had an athlete on each mat. So you and Suf and Vega, and we were filming and keeping book, and we were scrambling.
Yeah, it was tough to keep up, and obviously I don't think we'll discuss it too much, but we had 6 freshmen at Michigan State Open, so Matt Ramos was there, so that's why we were down to.
Yeah, we were down a coach.
We were down a coach when we could have used them, but Matt was busy with his 6 guys at Michigan State. So yeah, we were spread out and had a busy weekend of everyone competing.
Quick touch on Michigan State before we move on. Really nice. Had Vinny Pano in the finals at 133. Ty Henderson had a nice showing, got on the podium at 125.
Yeah, 5th.
Adrian Palat took 3rd. Aiden Costello took 2nd.
Yeah.
Nice effort by those young guys. Again, putting on the Purdue singlet for the first time and going out there and scrapping.
Yeah, by and large, a solid weekend. Again, you always kind of go back to where you were a little short, and we started on that process already this week. But the guys were out there. They were wrestling hard. They were getting after people. And again, they gave themselves opportunities. The mistakes we can fix. If you're not getting after people in your best way, then that's the real issue for me. And so very, very happy that these guys came out and got after people in their best way. The rest we can work on the positions and some of the errors that we made.
Next segment of the show, one of my favorite days of the year, National Signing Day. We had 6 young men put pen to paper.
Yep.
And officially joined the Boilermaker family. And I know that this is a class that we have been very excited about for a very long time. Kind of give your thoughts on the group overall in general.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So the obvious is it's a talented group, right? That's the easiest thing to evaluate. But they are a talented group, and they have a lot of accolades behind their names. So that's the obvious part. But maybe the most important part is kind of the character, who these guys are and how they fit in and will sustain and build on the culture that we have. As I talk about this team, the culture that we've created here is something that's been extremely important for me. And so once you understand, like, hey, yes, this guy can wrestle in the Big Ten and at this level and be successful, you want to make sure that that their character, their competitive desire, their passion for the sport, all of those things are intact, and I really feel strongly about this group. So yeah, they can wrestle, and their accolades reflect that. But boy, their competitive character and kind of who they are, I think, is gonna have a great effect on continuing and building on the culture that we have.
We'll go weight class order to look at these guys and kind of touch on each one a little bit. The little guy of the group, Nathan Rue, coming up to us from Avon, Indiana, has been a nationally ranked kid for a lot of his career. Won a state title last year, has been a state runner-up a couple times, but a guy who is definitely going to make an impact on the lower half of our room.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can say this about all of our in-state products. We've got a few of them here. It's nice when you can keep the in-state talent at home. I mean, that's always the goal. And so to have somebody like Nate's, again, what his resume shows, he's won at every level. He's just been rock solid up through all the age groups. Excited to keep him home. He's a guy we've seen in the room, been around a lot. And again, so I speak to who he is and just how he fits with our group. The talent is kind of secondary, right? Like, that's a given. So, but he will be an anchor down low for us for years.
Bumping up a class, we'll just bump over one state to the left.
Yep.
Our man Zach Stewart out of Marmion Academy up near Chicago in Illinois. Zach is, man, he is a slick kid.
Yeah, slick's the word, right? I mean, really talented. Has got a different style than some other guys, and that comes into consideration when we recruit as well, right? I mean, you want to put different skill sets in your room so people are exposed to that. So the first time you see it isn't when you're competing. And again, he has some different things. He can scramble. He's got some ducks. Just a very good athlete and a very good technician. And I love his attitude about competing too. Win or lose, he's got great insight to how he competed and maybe what he needs to do to move forward. So just really enjoyed getting to know him through the whole recruiting process in terms of how he thinks about the sport and where he comes from as he approaches competing.
The highest ranked, the highest, I guess you should say, regarded from sources like Matt Scouts and Flow Wrestling, highest rated kid in the group, Camden Baum, coming to us out of Pennsylvania,
Yep.
Harrisburg area. Man, he's a brick.
Yeah, he is a brick. If you've not seen him, Mike, physically, he's short, stocky, imposing, wrestles a physical style. He's seen a lot of high-level competition. I mean, coming out of PA, right, like, you're routinely tested. He comes from a great high school there, Bishop McDevitt, but wrestles a good schedule with the Powerade and different things. So he's been exposed to a lot of good competition, has a lot of strong, significant wins. And that's what I really like about him. He's been tested a lot and has found ways to be successful against great competition. So again, when you come into the Big Ten how tough it's going to be. Well, he's been there a lot. Since a young age, coming from the state, he comes from there in PA.
That's what I was going to add to Cam. It's not just the fact that he's been successful, but his success has been so sustained over a long time. And even his weight class in Pennsylvania, in his division, I mean, there's been a bunch of guys to come through that he's competed against, beat some, lost to some very close, that are all going to very, prestigious universities.
Yeah, absolutely. And and the way I think of him, right, is he's had to be resilient. When you wrestle that kind of a schedule, I remember I was out at Powerade last year, and he had a tough loss to Herring there, and then found a way at the state championships to reverse that, made some nice adjustments, and turned the match back in his favor. So again, you like that when you see kids, hey, you take an L, you got to figure some things out and come back better, and he's had to do that. And I think that's going to serve him well in college.
It's wild in Pennsylvania. You see two kids like he and Herring, and they have wrestled each other 7, 8 times already. Like, it's crazy.
No doubt.
And then they're going to probably do it again in college. So it's pretty nuts to see kind of how some of those kids and some of those weight classes in Pennsylvania, how they shake out that way.
Absolutely.
Again, climbing the ladder. Turns out this kid has become great friends with Camden Baum. Is our first ever recruit from the state of Nevada, Drake Hueyman, out of Slam Academy in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Interesting, right? Like, I'm glad to get one of those guys, Chase, who runs the club out there with Gold Rush, kind of
Chase
shout out to him.
yeah,
shout out to him. He's doing a great job out there, and to get one of Chase's guys. And again, Drake's, really passionate about the sport, competes at the highest level. I mean, that schedule that they wrestle, being out there in Nevada, they've got to travel a lot, whether it's to Doc B out on the West Coast or to Powerade again, where he's a finalist last year, going out east. They'll travel anywhere and wrestle everyone, and that's what got Drake on our radar. And then again, you talk about skill sets. Like, he's got a little different skill set. He's tough on top, and he'll scramble from his feet. He's got a dimension of his style that I think is going to add a lot to the room as well. So, and I just love his attitude. Right? You talk about passion for the sport. He's got it as well.
Yeah, that guy he is Mr. Purdue. That kid, ever since he is committed to us, he has been one of our biggest cheerleaders, both online and in person.
Yeah, he's hit both dual meets on the California trip. He was there twice.
And his mom and his grandma drove out and
awesome.
And came to the matches and spent some time. So it was to have him officially inked and to be able to talk about him publicly on the show and in interviews and stuff is just fantastic, because boy, has he been doing it the other way for the last year and a half or so since he's been committed. He was a fun one. I remember when we were out at Cliff Keen and Chase was hosting us in the room, and I asked who he had coming up, and he's like, "Oh, I got this kid. You guys got to check him out." And to see that all come to fruition has been pretty cool.
Full circle moment, and again, I talk about culture, and that's why these guys, they're all in on what we're doing and who we are. So that's a great thing when you can match that talent with the guys who really fit the character and the culture of your team.
Coming back to the state, our guy Parker Reynolds joined us from Brownsburg High School, just down the road in the north side of Indianapolis. Parker, obviously no stranger to the room. He has been around at camp and RTC stuff for years, and now he's part of the family.
Yeah, as you mentioned, a guy we've seen a lot and really got to know, and has a tremendous story too, right? I mean, state champ and has won a lot. He's won some big matches, but I like, again, we talk about resilience. A guy who's gone through some things, injury-wise, health-wise, and had to come back and still
had the crazy thing with his rib, right?
Like he's been an interesting story for him. He's been through a lot there and had to come back and show some resilience and have success, and has done that. So again, a guy that you need that kind of resilience in college. So really excited to keep a home in-state kid here and from a powerhouse of a program there at Brownsburg.
Absolutely. Last and certainly not least, again, we'll stay in Indiana, Fishers High School, Xavier Smith.
Yeah, really talented kid. Again, we got to see a little bit more here, with workouts. So you've got to kind of see what his work ethic looks like in the room, when he's been to some of the RTC and things like that. What really impressed me about him is, the spring that he had last spring. You go back and look at some of his wins, an impressive kind of hit list there too. I think Aaron Stewart was one of the matches that he had a win. On his way
Very
to
highly touted prospect, headed to Illinois to play football and wrestle.
Right. So he picked up a couple tournament titles in the spring, where I thought that was pretty significant for us with him in our evaluation of where he was at and maybe what he could really be. So very talented kid. Again, a great kid with a lot of character. Somebody I've really enjoyed getting to know more through the process. He's going to be a great fit and fits, that weight class need when you're looking at 74, 84
Absolutely.
Area.
Yeah, it's often you talk about the fact that some schools want you and some schools need you,
Yep.
and he definitely fit a great need for us.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm glad you brought that up, in recruiting, just for everybody, right? It's, when you're talented and you're doing well and you have results, a lot of people are going to want you, but do they really need you? What's their plan for you and how do you fit into that program? That's something we discuss often with our recruits and their families because, we want guys who we need and fit with us.
And I think one thing that, this has been an overall theme in our recruiting for a few years now, which has been reflected in the fact that, a lot of guys have stayed when had opportunities to leave and go elsewhere and do some of the things that are happening in the world today. But, these guys, they want to be here. Mm-hmm. They are excited about being at Purdue and being a part of this team. And it's, there's depth to their commitments.
Yes, there's no doubt. They are all in, and again, it's probably a top 15 class. I know the final recruiting class ranking's not out. I think we were at 13.
Flo had us at 13. Yeah,
that was a little maybe a couple weeks ago, but I would say, it is a very solid group that will, help kind of move us, ahead in terms of what our goals and both team and individuals wise are for the future, I guess.
Like I said, one of my favorite days of the year. I think it gets overlooked in the fact that these young kids are realizing a dream in this moment. They've worked their whole life. They've traveled all over the country to different tournaments, and they've put in all this work, and now they've put pen to paper, and it's official for them. They have
a lot of sacrifice for both the kids and their families.
And absolutely, their parents for sure.
A lot of sacrifice for everyone there, so that's good. One thing I will say, and obviously we can't have a name today. We have another young man.
Yes.
So I did not want to leave him out. We will be able, the way NCAA rules work, we're not able to release name today. That will happen in the future. But I do want to say, hey, we've got another young man. You guys be on the lookout when we release his name and credentials as well, that I'm super excited about, that is going to be a part of this group.
For sure.
And that's a big deal. And certainly when the NCAA says we can do it, we'll let everybody know as well.
Coach Ersland, the rule follower over here. This guy's he's dialed in on.
There you go.
Last but not least on the show, we'll look ahead to this weekend's competition. We are hosting the Boilermaker Duals. Didn't host our quad last year.
Yeah.
Nice to have a preseason home event. The ops guy really appreciates not having to travel again this weekend. He's a happy guy. But hosting a quad, not in our friendly confines of Holloway Gymnasium this weekend due to a very busy home schedule, but we will be near our practice room in the historic Lambert Fieldhouse.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. Obviously, a crazy busy weekend. You'd love to be in Holloway or Mackey, but knowing that we have both volleyball and basketball going, and it's just how busy everyone is here. The fact that we're still hosting 3 other teams in Lambert for a full day of wrestling is awesome. Not to mention that
football's all the way across the country headed to Washington too.
Yes.
So that's gonna that takes a chunk of the department with them on that trip.
No, absolutely. But again, like you talk about last year, we were on the road, the entire month of November, and I remember how thin that stretched us. So to be at home in our friendly confines, and the guys get to sleep in their own beds, and then we'll still get 3 dual meets, is awesome. So we're really looking forward to the weekend. The order, right, we've got Buffalo starting off at 10 a.m., and then we're going to roll straight through to Northern Illinois, and then American last to close out the day.
Yes, great slate of duels. There should be a few ranked matchups.
Yes.
Slid in at a variety of weights. I know you said Blake Borman's got a couple. We got a couple good opponents at 133 that he'll see. I want to say there was American. One of their little guys had a really nice upset early in the season as well.
133 pounder, I think, is what you're
yeah.
thinking. Maybe out at the Navy Classic.
That sounds right.
Had a nice tournament win out there.
That sounds right. I should be better prepared for that, but I'm not. So it is what it is, right?
Yep. No, I got you.
Matt's went down today. Our facilities and events crew are doing a great job in getting ready for this and being prepared. And we decided to throw them another extra curveball. And we're hosting the Hammer Youth Tournament at the conclusion of the duels on Saturday. Should be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it should be great. I mean, obviously you got a lot of young fans at the duels anyway. We decided it would be awesome if we could host a youth tournament following the dual meets and kind of get double the fun, I guess. So our guys are going to be officials, and they're going to interact with the kids all day. So, yeah, it's a win-win. They'll get to watch some high-level wrestling, then they'll get to have fun competing in Lambert on the Purdue mats as well.
A nice field already in. Kids still registering and pouring in. It should be a pretty awesome event.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day.
So, Coach, anything else we need to get into this week's show? Corey, feel free to chime in there if there's anything we missed, man.
Nothing. No, listen, it's great to be here talking wrestling again. I'm excited we had the opportunity to do this. It's been too long. I really enjoy this team. I think, they are very capable, and so we just got to make sure that, we're getting better every week. Win or lose, there's adjustments to be made, and make sure that by the time we get down to March, we're kind of the best versions, as they say, of ourselves.
For sure.
Which can be pretty good.
Which can be very good. That's it for this week's Always Aggressive podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Matches will be streamed this weekend on Big Ten Plus, starting at 10 a.m. against Purdue against Buffalo. Our fantastic producer, Corey Palm, will be organizing those streams as well, and we appreciate him greatly. But if you don't have anything else, Coach, that's it.
I'm good. Let's go wrestle.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Blaze doing a good job here. He's got his hands locked.
An 11-2 major decision for Isaac Roble and the Boilermaker.
What a win for Hayden Filipovic. To get the job done, he put Andrews on his back a couple of times.
Grayson Clark scores the final 8 points to take a 9-4 victory.
Beautiful job by Blaze. You saw him kind of drag him back with his head stuck in the middle.
Boilermaker faithful here in Holloway Gym, giving Ben Venadia a round of applause as he picks up his 4th Big Ten dual victory
And he
of the
gets the
season.
takedown. Brody